There was nothing more Haas could have hoped for. In its Formula One racing programme, it has undergone a dramatic turnaround. In 2022, the new regulations will bring new fortunes for the club after scoring just 3 points in the last 2 campaigns. Already it has racked up 4 times that amount. As a result of Kevin Magnussen's 2 top 10 finishes in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. With more points than previously scored in 49 races, it's ranked 5th in the Constructors' Championship. Haas may have enjoyed it even more. A more successful start to the season would have been beneficial for Mick Schumacher. Haas also added a few points, but how did the team achieve this remarkable turnaround in its fortunes? Is it really possible for the team to maintain this level of performance for the rest of the season? Stay tuned to the end as we dissect every aspect. Haas has been a dominant force in Formula One for so long. This was its 5th place finish in the Constructors' Championship before 2018. From 4th to 9th on average, it had the 4th fastest car. In 2019, the rear arrow stalled in fast and medium corners due to a fundamental aerodynamic problem, overworking the tyres in the process. Therefore, even on weekends when it qualified well, the cars still performed well. In the race, they plummeted. The problem was exacerbated by upgrades, and Haas ended the season with its start of season specifications. There were only 28 points awarded to it. As soon as the COVID-19 pandemic struck the following season, Haas stopped developing the car and abandoned the modification build. After the new Concord agreement was finalised in August 2020, there were even doubts about its continued involvement in Formula One. The team's principal Gunther Steiner decided to focus the team's resources on the Haas VF22 as a result of the new technical regulations that came in 2022. Since last year's car only had the bare minimum modifications, it spent the entire season at the rear. However, the team faced a number of challenges, featuring an off-the-pace car and 2 rookie drivers, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. Technical work was taking place at its base under the direction of its technical director, Simone Resta, having joined the team from Ferrari at the beginning of 2021. He is effectively on loan from the team. Introducing a new facility in Maranello that houses our design team as well as a number of other recruits, Ferrari created less aerodynamics as well. The design work was performed by Dallara. The company continues to work with Haas. Haas and Ferrari continue their technical partnership. A supply of engines and gearboxes is also included. Some teams have questioned the closeness of the relationship, but many parts are transferable, including the suspension. The first time Haas entered Formula One was in 2016. Since then, all has been done according to the rules. Aside from Williams, Haas had the advantage of the most wind tunnel time and most CFD items. I'm grateful for Formula One. Aero testing is a subject to sliding scale and costs are limited by a cap. Once again, the Formula One grandees have the advantage over the rest of the field in terms of spending. Compared to bigger teams, it had the potential to match or surpass their development. Haas used this opportunity to produce the VF22 well. It's a car that catches the eye right away with a degree of aero detail that proves that effort that has been well spent. As we move forward, we'll talk about Haas' performance level and how likely it is to remain at that level. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and if you enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on anything. Hit the notifications bell so you know the moment there's something new to see. Anyway, enough self-promotion there, let's move on. Its results to date demonstrates the success of its strategy, with Magnussen starting 7th and finishing 5th in Bahrain, and then finishing 9th in Saudi Arabia from 10th. Schumacher finished 11th in Bahrain to begin the season. After being punctured into a spin by Alpine driver Esteban Ocon in his first lap, he was unable to start. As a result of a heavy qualifying crash, in spite of the fact that Haas did have the parts to repair the car, Schumacher was unable to compete after this accident, which cost the team between $500,000 and $1 million. The car has shown the team have made the right decision to sacrifice 2021 for this year. On average, Haas belongs to Formula One's ultra-crowded midfield group. Despite Magnussen's struggle with fitness and circuit familiarity, it actually only has the 7th fastest car. During pre-season testing, the team expects to discover even more. In terms of getting the most out of the package, it has completed the least mileage of all 10 teams and went into the Bahrain Green light on setup. Despite these limitations, it has a lot to offer. It has a car that is fast enough to compete for points, finishes and Q3 every weekend. With Magnussen's return, not only has its chances been greatly improved over Mazepin's, but Schumacher has been challenged to raise his game and emerge as a point-scoring driver. This is likely to happen in the near future, and if Haas can maintain its place in front or near the front of the middle of the field, then there may be some hope. Last year, Magnussen admitted he was dreaming of a podium finish in Formula One. Only Haas can dream of sneaking into Q2 on occasion, perhaps even fluking a point. In this year's programme, it has considerably greater ambitions, and it has the capacity to achieve them because it has invested more resources in the 2020 car earlier than the other programmes. There is a reasonable reason to ask whether it is lofty. As a result of sacrificing 2021 to get a head start, this position is temporary, so perhaps it is not surprising that it outperformed its competitors. It's too simplistic to view that way. Other teams also prioritised 2022 development last year, but not quite in the same way as Haas, which is comfortably ahead of Williams and right behind Alfa Romeo. It remains to be seen whether it can keep up with its competitors in terms of development. That tells me he's confident. A number of good results are yet to come and indicate that the team hasn't fully tapped into its existing package. In addition to the upgrades in the pipeline for Haas, Steiner stressed that these packages must show a notable difference in performance. Due to this year's car balance, even the big teams must be more cautious with upgrades. The cost cap for the project, which is set at $140 million, is, despite Steiner's words, which may sound like an excuse not to throw parts at the car every weekend. Haas did not upgrade the car last year, so what he says makes sense. The performance stayed the same, although it didn't plummet. Since these are new regulations, the development rate will be higher this year at the end of the season than it was early on. While Haas plans on improving the car, it will also make gains. Only time will tell if it can match or surpass its competitors' development rate. As an additional advantage, it maintains a greater number of wind tunnel runs and CFD items than any other team. These allocations will continue to be used until the Constructors' Championship is reset. At the end of June, it has a car which is performing well and allowing lead driver Magnussen to get back into full Formula One sharpness. The technical team is confident that they can find more performance in simulations back at the base through the addition of Schumacher, whose form will improve. The season will be long and hard for Haas, and even small swings can make a big difference. Whether it can get out of Q1 or remain a threat for Q3, there's no doubt it can keep up with its bigger rivals in terms of development. To re-establish itself after its transformative start to the 2022, Haas must do so. Invest yourself for the long term. Despite being one of the strongest midfield teams in Formula One, to dismiss it as a passing fad is completely wrong. Dismissed as a flash in the pan. It was thanks to getting ahead of the developmental curve that we were able to do this. Underestimating a team that has constantly defied the odds since entering Formula One would be a mistake. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support our channel and be notified of every new video we upload, please subscribe and like the video.